Okay, folks, let's try this again. Just quick in and out. No intro song. We're gonna have weird buffering today. I don't know any way around that. It's just bouncing around on my OBS from green to red, so even after the restart, I don't know what's going on. I suggest maybe to put it down to a lower quality setting. Try like 480 and see what happens. Alright, we're gonna do the thing. We're gonna try to do the thing. Like, I got no way to... I got no way to fix this live. I don't think I have a way to fix this at all. So, it is what it is. Welcome to Gaarawarr's Guide, the tutorial show. Today, our topic, buffered or not, is going to be Idle Shapers presents Fatebreaker. I'm even wearing a shirt from one of the last ones. This is the Idle Shapers presents the Black Pits. The Black Pits. We're going to talk about how what is that? What the heck is Idle Champions Presents? It generally gets shortened to ICP, which confuses a lot of people. They're like, "Excuse me? What can I say? What can I say?" All right. So, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Oh, so tutorial show. See, I'm all thrown off. Tech issues like this that are uncontrollable just throw me right out the window. I'm going to talk for an hour-ish, and then well, probably less today, and then we'll do lots of questions. Ask questions. I have one in the queue already. That's not a real... Is that a thing? I don't think that's a thing. But I have a question in the queue already, and I will answer it in the second half of the show. Please put question : like it shows down below, so I can get to it. Well, people trying to troubleshoot my stuff going on right now, and trust me, folks, this is... the whole stream is buffering. It's not like one thing or another, folks. It's not like there's different things going in different places. All right. It is not my computer. It is the internet. For some reason. We've had this happen before. I changed nothing. I've actually shut some things down just in case it might help, but sometimes it'd be this way. All right, so Idle Shapers Presents. Obviously, we've had multiple Idle Shapers Presents. I think this is number 6. It is, because that's what I put in the code. So we're just calling it number 6. This is Idle Champions 6. We've done this a bunch of times. And what it is it's a live play TTRPG show where a bunch of people get together and play the Dungeons and Dragons. And more often than not, it is DM'd by B. Dave Walters. DM to the stars. As seen on TV once upon a time. Well, not once, but once upon a time. And they have a different group of characters that come on each time. And in the past, it was all people whose characters were in the game. And now, what they do is they'll have some people whose characters are already in the game, and then they have a couple people come on, and they put their characters in the game, the characters they're playing specifically on the stream. So we get some cool custom characters, some new people who haven't ever showed up before. So this time around, we get Nora Ibrahim returning as Nahara. Everybody knows Nahara in slot 3. We get Megan Kenrick coming back as Widdle. Widdle's there's, slot 2. We get Marvin. Here's where I fail. Man, I had everybody's slot. And then we get Brother Uriah. There we go. I knew right where to go. Slot 9, Brother Uriah, but from Mark Mir, but it's King Uriah now. King Uriah now. And then our newest champions that are going to be coming to the game, the one that was announced just yesterday, Alicia Marie, the lovely Alicia Marie, is going to be playing Thellora, the Centaur, our first Centaur in game. And then we also get Gina Darling as Zheng Sao, and Zheng Sao is another new champion, not yet in the game. I mean, it's kind of in the promos, but you can wait for that. So we'll actually have one showing up, two new champions that are becoming, and it's specifically going to be because of this, and they'll be arriving pretty quickly. In fact, I mean, I think... Is it? Oh, no, it's not going to show because, yeah, we have free gates available. But this Wednesday, the 18th, Thellora will arrive in the game. But prior to that, Monday, October 16th at 10 a.m. Pacifically speaking, the first episode of Idle Chambers Presents Fatebreaker will air. Episodes are going to be like 3 hours, is what I'm told, roughly 3 hours, and there will be like an intermission for who knows how long. And you'll get to see all of these people playing their characters. We get an introduction to the lore and an introduction to Zheng Sao, and yay! Right, and that's going to happen every Monday, 10 a.m. for 3 hours for the next 5 weeks. The next 5 weeks. You can keep up to date on, with this little Fatebreaker button up here, you can keep up to date on exactly when the things are going to happen. The next episode, 2 days, 0 hours, 48 minutes, so you know in your time framing what's going to go on there. And that's kind of the thing. Now, what's interesting about the live play TTRPG and why we have in-game stuff is that we, as players, can vote to kind of alter the way the game works. Sometimes it's thematic, sometimes it's by getting items to specific players, like, sometimes like in the past there have been options for like who should get a new like major legendary item and something like that, and then the community decides which champion's going to get it. And then we also get rewards for the voting, and again that's all done through this button. So as you can see, it lists up here the overview: week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. Obviously the future weeks are locked. As we get to each week, there will be new voting that unlocks. See, there's reward tokens. I've earned 4 so far. That's because there have been 5 days actually, since this started. I just haven't voted. And you want to vote each day, right? So here's what it looks like for the week. You lock in your votes each time, and you will get to see what the spread is. Like, well, which one won after the voting is ended. You don't get to see it beforehand. Obviously, it's hidden voting. Just vote with whatever you want. Vote with whatever you think. And if you don't care one way or another, and you just want your reward token, click one. The nice thing this time around is they finally did an A/B switching for this. So like on my page, it says comedic on the left, dramatic on the right. But for some of you, it'll say dramatic on the left and comedic on the right, and that helps to get rid of just left vote bias, which we saw heavily in previous Idle Chambers Presents. So hopefully we'll get a much better representative of, like, hey, what did people actually want to have see? So it looks like we got comedic is kind of going to be the tone, overall tone. I'm sure there will still be some dramatic areas, but, maybe a little more of a comedic touch. The stakes are going to be epic instead of personal. I mean, it is called Fatebreaker, so, there you go. And then we're going to have a slightly more character roleplay. I mean, they're leaning into more character roleplay instead of exciting combat, which is fine. I mean, there'll still be exciting combat. Don't fret. And then Thellora is going to receive a vision from Iran, god of life and death. Sure. And then let's see what day 5. What famous or infamous character played by Megan Kenrick do the champions cross path with during this episode? This is going to be funny because, like, is it going to be B Dave doing Riddle or Squiddle? Because that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Vote. If you don't know if you're like, I don't know what this even means, just pick one. It's cool. It's cool. I'm gonna go Riddle. And when I voted, look, I got a new reward token, and then tomorrow I'll be able to vote again and get another reward token. You get 6 tokens a week. There isn't any voting on the 7th day, because on the 7th day we watch the show. That's how that works. And then after the show ends, the new voting day starts up immediately. And then we get a reward shop. The reward shop is going to be different every week. You'll see some similar things, right? You're going to see stuff like, well, you might not see stuff like this. These are pretty big. You'll get 6 options, and then the seventh thing is going to be something that is an extra bonus reward. So as long as you voted 3 times and bought 3 things, you'll get something bigger. And the very first thing they're giving us is a new familiar. So for those of you who have always been like, hey, how do we get more free familiars in the game? Here's another way. Yeah. So participating in things like this gets you nice rewards. But this time around, you get to unlock Widdle and get a gold chest. Unlock Brother Uriah and get a gold chest. Unlock Nahara and get a gold chest. And now, obviously, that's like not a lot of gold chests, but I don't know. There's like 5 weeks. Maybe they're probably going to include... I don't know that they're going to include gold chests for these champions, but that might be a thing you see, right? And if you're wondering, like, well, but what about Thellora and Jing Sao? Well, we're going to be getting them in events, right? Events are coming. But you'll get them just naturally in events, and then you may very well see extra gold chests for them. We don't know. We don't know yet. They threw in a Season 5 chest, and they threw in some potions. I'm going to give you a hot tip, right? Because there's always a reward down here that costs 3 tokens. What a lot of us will do is just pick the 3 things that we like the most. Maybe 4 if there's 4 really good things. So like, I don't know, maybe these top 4 and ignore the potions. And then save your tokens, the rest of your tokens, for day 1 of week 2. Because then when you vote on day 1 of week 2, you'll have, if you bought 4 things, you'll have banked 2 tokens. Day 1, you vote again, you'll have 3 tokens. You can immediately buy your 3 favorite things and then pick up whatever the big thing is right away. Hot tip from me to you. Because these reward tokens stay all 5 weeks. And so do these reward shops. So you could save all your, if you wanted, you could save all your tokens until week 5 and then spend them all. The key that you have to do every day, though, you have to log in every day and vote to get the token. But you don't have to spend the token immediately. So like what I like to do is just buy a minimal, like here, we're obviously going to get these. I mean, obviously. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw down for the season chest, but I'm going to ignore the potions. For now, I am going to claim my familiar. Because, yeah, I want all that stuff. But then I'm going to bank, this token from today. I'm going to bank tomorrow's token. And then I will vote on Monday of next week or Monday of this coming week after the show airs. Voting will open. I will grab that 3rd token and I'll pick up 3 things. That easy, right? And then in week 5, I will come back and I will buy this. But this also works if maybe you miss some days. Okay, buy what you want, and then if there's stuff that you really want in 1 week, but you don't have enough tokens and you know you need to buy the stuff, you can just save up over the course and then come back and buy it later. Right? Don't worry. Don't fret. Did all this stuff go over here? It did. The familiar went straight into my inventory, but everything else just came straight over here. With no switching. Yay. Look. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. I got an epic. So if you're watching, for all the people who are like, how are we supposed to epic out all of our event champions now? Well, first off, there's still more than enough There's still more than enough patron chests you're going to earn in the new system. But hey, then there's also things like this where you get a chance at getting gear, and then hey, that weekly newsletter chest. Hashtag streamer luck. I just got a shiny out of my weekly newsletters. I don't even care what item it is. Who's it for? Ah, it's for certainty. Nice. Nice. Well, that's certainly nice. Which one did it land on? Ooh. Secretarians and Vice. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. So yeah. That's what we're looking at, folks. You'll always see on the front page, you'll always see, hey, what's the current vote? And you can just click there and it'll take you straight to whatever week it is. So you don't have to like manually do it if you're lazy. There's going to be little promo videos you can click on. And as this sometimes in the past, these have like clicked to the last episode. But not always. Not always, right? If you want more information, there's a how to play FAQ. It kind of goes over everything I talked about right now, right? It's a live stream. You get your votes kind of affect what's going on. You get rewards. You can save them. Yada, yada. Oh, there is a nice thing. So if you want to know what's coming up, they did say, they told us up, hey, Aurora the Lantern Archon is the week 1 familiar. Week 2, you get a Potion of the Gem Hunter. We like those in this house. Week 3 is a Potion of Polish. We also like those. That puts a shiny on any piece of gear on any champion. Week 4 is 1,000 Modron component pieces. So for those of you who are like, I don't want to break down my Modron pipes. I just want you to give me stuff. There's some component pieces to upgrade with. And then the final week is a Potion of the Gold Hunter, which is kind of like... I think they just don't want people that missed... I feel like they don't want people that maybe missed a day or missed some days to feel bad if they don't get the final 3 vote reward or something. Because Gold Hunter's like, let's be honest. But yeah, and again, it's 1 vote per day. In the past, it was different. There are lots of things changed. Look, that's the way this kind of game works. It's a live services game. Things are going to change over time. They have iterated on Fatebreaker over time and adjusted how things are going. And it's in a much better place. I will say it has gotten better almost every time. Sometimes it was like, okay, they thought they had it and then they didn't, and then they changed it again next time. So the A/B switch is the biggest thing. That's probably the single biggest complaint from the last Idle Champions Presents was the feeling that your vote didn't matter because so many people were just popping in and left vote bias, just clicking the closest one to claim their reward. So now with the A/B switch, it evens that out. You still get the same number of people that are doing that, but because it's going to just randomly 50% of the time give people one side and 50% of the time give it to the other, it helps to eliminate that bias. Nothing can really ever eliminate it completely, but it goes a very, 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 very long way with that randomness, right? With that randomness, you know what? Let's talk about. Let's go in here. We can't go over obviously champions that aren't in the game yet, but we can talk a little. Oh, I have a conversion. Well, thank you. I will take that. Let's talk about the 3 champions that are currently in the game that are featured in Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker. One's going to be Widdle. Where to say you're right? Uriah's over here, and Nahara's right here. Boom. Boom. So there we go. Oh, that's actually Widdle in her Rougarou outfit. Here, let's put Wriggle. Widdle in her regular skin. Just renaming champions. It's the riddle thing. It threw me off. So Widdle is known in slot 2 for being a buffer and a speedster. She buffs adjacent. I'm not going to go fully into these, but she buffs adjacent. She will give everybody a chance to just a 25% chance to immediately reset their base attack. So there's a chance you just get to fire off again. She speeds up the rate at which enemies spawn. Your spec choices are about increasing vampiric gaze on your primary DPS. This is one of those ones where champions. I'm going to pause for a second. The number of champions in a formation that are targeted at times can be a bait number. At times, you don't want the largest number, and you have to understand that. You have to know when to just look for the largest number and when to actually look for like the people that it's hitting. This one will give you a number, and it doesn't matter. You don't want to pick the highest one. That's not the point. This one, if it were correct, if it were working correctly, it works correctly. But if it were done correctly, there we go. We got there. It would tell you who it targets, because what you want is for it to target your primary DPS. It's buffing her buffs by 50%. And you want that on your primary DPS. It doesn't matter how many people in the formation match it. It matters, or that are around her, because it's about adjacencies. It matters which specific person it's targeting. So, we would want, in this formation, Nahara would be our DPS. We look at some high numbers, 16 dex, 16 charisma. So we know we'd be looking for either a dex or charisma. Wisdom and confidence is the charisma. Strong and steady is the dex. We pick it that way. Now, at that point, as long as you know that one of those is the one that has your DPS in it, you can then go for the larger number if you like. But primarily, first off, you need to make sure that you're picking Widdle's specialization based off it hitting the primary DPS. Okay. A lot of people are like, I saw somebody ask on Dev Insights, when are we getting those count numbers on all of the specializations that it matters? And then there's always a part of me that's like, but that's not what everybody needs. It's a bait for some people, and they've just never, I don't know. I guess it's way easier for them to just add a number than to go into the champions where it matters and add names. I wish they would. What else do we got? Oh, yes. Also, she speeds up attack speed. So, if possible, if you have somebody adjacent to Widdle that has a super low attack speed, she shares that with everyone else adjacent to her. So, as you could have multiple people with attack speeds of 6 and 7 seconds. But if you have one person with an attack speed of 2.5, they all have an attack speed suddenly of 2.5. Which is great. So if you combine Widdle with other people that take amounts off of, flat amounts off of attack speed, you can get someone down to sub 1 second, which is basically animation frame speed, and then spread that to everybody, and then everybody's going real fast, which is always fun. Oh yes, and I always forgot my favorite gag. Widdle is a Dhampir gnome wizard. What's a Dhampir, you ask? It's a vampire. It's a wet vampire. Anyway, healing support speed, chaotic neutral. Member of Heroes of the Plains. Let's go on to Nahara. Nahara and brother Uriah come to us from the Black Dice Society. Female reborn Aasimar, warlock bard, chaotic neutral, DPS and speed. One of the interesting things about Nahara is that her passive ability, which is what these level 0 abilities are, it lets her go in all the Strahd stuff. Any Strahd variant that exists, regardless of whether she meets the qualifications or not, even if it said only male champions are allowed in this, Nahara's like, nah, I'm coming along anyway. So keep that in mind. We have a Who Am I? This is a permanent stacking bonus. So as long as she's in the formation when you complete an area for the first time, meaning just as you're running through adventures, you can't go back and then step through and artificially grant her bonus. She gets a buff. So she's one of those that you kind of want to having maybe a grind formation. So if you're doing like a basic gem farm grind, like in Mad Wizard, if Nahara's in there and she is a speed champion, then she gets to build up her bonuses for other things in the future. She has an interesting speed mechanic that's part of the time it's a speed mechanic, and then when it's not a speed mechanic, it's a damage boost mechanic. And it's based off levity stacks. It's under to Amuse or Avenge, and it's based off how quick you're killing things. So when you're killing things quickly, she's going to give you a speed mechanic. But when you stop killing things quickly, it automatically turns into a buffing mechanic. And I love that. That's fantastic. So many champions just have a speed mechanic, and then when it turns off, it's just gone. And then you lose an entire ability that may or may not have item support, like hers does. And then it's like, oh. But no, she's there for you both ways. She's there for you both ways. She gives some buffs to the Black Dice Society if you grab them all in there. And then she gets specializations into specific things. Like you can, if you're going to be doing that farm, like the permanent stacking farm, you choose a Grave Experience. If you want, if you just want her for the speed effect and you want to increase the speed effect, it's a Skilled Liar. And then if you want, if you're doing Black Dice stuff, you go Barovian Bond, right? And the neat thing about Barovian Bond is, like I said before, she goes into every Strahd adventure, right? If you pick a Barovian Bond, she will bring the entire Black Dice Society along with her, which gives you a solid core set of an affiliation that works together into every Strahd variant, regardless of those restrictions. Now, what you have to keep in mind, though, is if you hop into a variant that occasionally removes champions and it removes Nahara, they all go away. They all go away. Because they can only be there when she's there. They can only be there when she's there. Yeah, those are the major features of Nahara. So we're not going to go super deep into these. In fact, I'm probably going to have to... This is not clearing up. I mean, we've got a ways to go today, but I'm probably going to have to end early just because it's going to take a while for the delayed buffered stream to catch up to me in real time. Oh, Twitch issues. Oh, Twitch issues. That's just Twitch use? Twitch use, probably. Alright, let's talk about Brother Uriah. Is it Brother Uriah, though? Brother Uriah, male human cleric, healing and support. They buff the damage of all champions in their column and the column right behind them. So ideally, this would be more like this. Right? Then he would actually be buffing Nahara. Ezra's Embrace, this is why I asked. He's a cleric of Ezra. Brother Uriah heals all champions within 2 slots for 10 health per second. This effect is increased by 25% for each formation slot containing a dead champion or an escort. Stacks additively. So they like dead people in their formation, or they like escorts for healing. It's a thing, folks. And you're like, but healing dead people? Look, it works. Just trust me. In the grip of Azlan Rex, here's the problem. After 100 normal attacks by champions in the formation, Azlan Rex takes over Brother Uriah for 60 seconds. So it's no longer Brother Uriah. While controlled by Azlan Rex, Brother Uriah increases the damage of Nahara and all evil champions. So it's important to remember that Brother Uriah is either a support for Nahara, or you probably want to use them as a support for evil champions, like an evil DPS. Because for a minute, every however long this takes to happen, that's all he's going to buff. So if you're using good or neutral champion as a DPS, you just have to know, like, every now and then for a minute, you're losing. See, now we have it in quotes. Brother Uriah. That means they're in the grip of Azlan Rex. So yeah, keep that in mind. It is an interesting feature, but it's one you do have to make sure you're building your thing around. Book of Exalted Deeds versus Book of Vile Darkness is the specialization. So, Exalted Deeds makes undead and fiends favored foes, and all champions deal an additional amount of damage to them. So this is cool if you're running groups that have favored foe mechanics. Or if you just want to create, if you know you're going into something that has undead and fiends as the primary enemies, you can run Book of Exalted Deeds. Book of Vile Darkness increases the effect of In the Grip of Aslan Rex, so that buff onto Nahara or Evil Champions. So if you're running Nahara DPS, or if you are running Evil Boosts, or if you're just not dealing with any undead or fiends, because that's not where you're at, you would go over here, right? Just know this bonus, way bigger than this bonus. But this bonus could be on all the time if you're running Nahara or an Evil DPS, whereas this would only feature on Undead and Fiends. So choose, but choose wisely. Choose wisely. Let me level them up, and then we will just keep going and going. All right. Oh, that's it. They're real straightforward in that regard. That's right. So yeah, those are the 3 champions currently in the game. Now, we do have a brand new champion. There's a new contender. Thellora. Let's see if I can... Nope, that ain't it. Is that the right button? That's the right button. That's the right button. Alright. So, Thellora coming to us Wednesday with Liar's Night, with the start of Liar's Night Year 7. Look at that. Yeah. This is some awesome key art. Awesome key art. So Thellora is going to be support, tanking, and speed. And she brings with her a speed effect that we have never seen before. Yeah. We have never seen this speed effect before, which is cool. We'll see what people think about it. She's going to be in slot 1. She is a slot 1 champion. Twitch is the new Briv, skipping every 4 frames. I don't know. I think right now, I'll be honest with you. This is a 20 skip Briv. It's like dropping 20 frames every time. 20 out of 30, so this is why we're running so bad. It's I'm sorry, folks. There's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. This is the broken version. All right. So, Thellora Centaur, female, 27, lawful neutral, she/her pronouns, no affiliation. Just coming in on her own, and she's a paladin, which is fantastic. We could always use more paladins in the game. Strength and charisma, highest stats. You'll see wisdom's the dump stat here. Eligible for patron Vajra with a feat. That means that feat is going to be coming right with her as default. Well, maybe not as default, but as one of her original feats. And just by default qualifies for Zariel. Scroll down. Base attack, Windsong strike. Thellora moves up to the closest enemy and rears up, knocking them back with her hooves and dealing 1 hit. She then strikes the next closest enemy with her blade, dealing 1 hit. So there's 2 chunks, potentially. The cool thing is, hey, knockback. I mean, the cool thing on top of her being a centaur. And I think I saw somebody like, does she take up 1 or 2 slots? Oh, she's like a medium-sized centaur, if I remember correctly. So she's just going to take 1 slot like any other champion. Her passive, so that's that level 0 ability, Plateaus of Unicorn Run. This is the interesting thing. Thellora gains a rush stack for every 10 areas she completes an adventure. These stacks persist through resets. So this is kind of like Briv stacking, right? This is rush stacking. When Thellora kills her first enemy in an adventure, and remember she is not a DPS, but because when you start the game everyone's killing, she will most likely kill somebody. When she kills her first enemy in an adventure, she spends X rush stacks to skip to area X plus 1. And her rush stacks are reset to 0. Okay. So basically you're spending rush stacks in one burst. And then you're jumping a lot of areas. A lot of areas. The highest area that can be skipped to is your current favor exponent. So that's your order of magnitude of favor. If you have E30 favor, that means you can jump to area 30 from area 1. If you have E90 favor, you can jump to area 90 from area 1. So this is like if you have enough stacks. Now, obviously, if you're somebody who can go like to area 2000, you'd have like 200 stacks. You'd need E200 favor to use up all those stacks, right? And there might be a couple people in the game who somehow have gotten that far, but most people are, well, not most people. A lot of the people in the high end are, in the 90s to 100. Maybe even early 100s. But a lot of people are probably in the 30 through E30 through the E50 range if you're still progressing through the game. So just know that whatever that exponent of your favor is, the order of magnitude, that's how far she's gonna skip. Thellora gathers all the rewards, including gold, from the bosses skipped in this fashion, but nothing from the normal monsters. So everything in the boss bags. If you got Black Viper in your party, you're getting the red gems. You're going to get the green gems that you would normally be skipping, which is great. And you'd get gold, and you're going to get whatever chests were there. Yay. But and this is in everything. It doesn't just say free plays. I know it says when she gains stacks when she completes an adventure, but I'm guessing, and it kills in an adventure, but something tells me in this case they're using that generically, and it'll be for everything. So that's the speed ability. That's the thing everybody's going to be talking about. All right, formation abilities. Strength of the Luma. Thellora increases damage of champions in the column behind her. Okay, so there's her placement cue, right? You want her in front of your primary DPS. Radiance of the Sky Sense. Thellora increases the health of all other champions by 5% of her max health, and any healing effect on those champions is increased by 25%. They're really trying to boost healing nowadays. I mean, it's definitely, a little better. But, at some point there's going to just have to be a boost to how healing works in the game overall, because even up by 25% isn't going to... It's nice honestly for new players and maybe even into the mid-game. That 25% solid. For those of us at in-game, questionable. Paladin's Resolve. Each time Thellora attacks and doesn't kill an enemy, so... Once you're into the phase where only your primary DPS is killing things, she increases the effective strength of the Luma by 15% until the area changes, stacking multiplicatively and capped at 100 stacks. That's the good way, folks. This is going to be the key. I think there is... Hold on. Yes, there is item support for this. So this is going to be the key ability to check when she comes out. Is her item giving pre-stack support or post-stack support? Multiplicatively stacking regardless is the good way. So the more she's attacking, the bigger the buff. But if she can raise that 15% pre-stack, that's the OP way. So there's something to keep an eye out for on Wednesday. Feats to spare. Oh, I see what they did there. The effect of feats assigned to Thellora also applies to all adjacent champions. Note that feats that buff her formation abilities have no effect when applied to other champions. So here's an argument for where maybe maybe you might want that 25% damage all champions and other kinds of things, and not necessarily formation abilities. In some situations, it's going to depend. We'll have to wait and see, right? We'll have to wait and see. Specializations, Defender of the Meek, Vanguard of the Quick, or Kalessa's Blessed. Yeah, okay, so these are just buff. These are kind of the variable buff things. So Thellora increases damage to champions with a strength of 12 or less by 31% for each champion in the formation, with a strength of 12 or less, stacks multiplicatively. Buffs apply to the pre-stack value. There we go, folks. Oh, there's item support for that one. There's item support for that one, folks. So she's automatically into that group of multiplicatively stacking abilities with pre-stack multipliers. She's already got one, and it's in her specializations. It is limited, right? Because it's based off the number of champions that qualify for this. But still, we'll take those multiplicatively stacking pre-stack bonuses wherever we can get them. Thellora is now a target for like shinying her specialization item and for dumping blacksmithing contracts onto, raising item levels for. Even if her other one isn't, even if her other one is post-stack. This alone makes her a target for that. Vanguard of the Quick, Thellora increases the damage of speed champions by 27.5% for each speed champion of the formation, stacking multiplicatively. Buffs applied to the pre-stack value. Kalessa's Blessed and Thellora increases the damage of female and non-binary champions by 27.5% for each of those in the formation, stacking multiplicatively. Buffs applied to the pre-stack value. All right. So the specialization's neat. Like it. Good. Her ultimate, the Light of Mount Tura. Sunbeam illuminates Thellora as she charges across the screen, attacking enemies in a wide line, dealing one hit, knocking them back a short distance, and stunning them for 5. Nice. For the next 15 seconds, her right eye glows with a golden light, increasing the damage of all champions by 400%. So this has got some nice crowd control with it. You're going to hit everything, well, probably most things, if not all things. And you get a buff. Item support, you can't see it all, but we got damage all champions, health, which we need for the tank. Thank you. Somebody go give Walnut a health item now. Strength of the Luma, Paladin's Resolve. That's that one that we got to keep an eye on, a pre or post stack. Then the specialization choices. The Basalt Dagger is the specialization choices. We know that's the good one. And then finally, Ultimate Cooldown. So this is... Oh, they're going to have a theme pack available. Oh, yeah. This is going to be Thellora, folks, coming Wednesday to Idle Champions. We're going to have to wait, obviously, a little bit for Zhang Zhao. When Zhang Zhao comes out, no doubt we will cover them. Obviously, whenever there's an event, we do full coverage of each of the champions. At some point, we'll probably also circle back around and cover all the champions in Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker as its own episode, because why not? Just so you know how to use all those champions together if you like, or just individually. That'll be fun. All right. But for now, that means we are done talking about Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker. We're going to take a short break. I don't remember. I think this is the Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker giveaway announcement, which you might have seen before. If you've been watching streams this week, you've seen this. But if you haven't, pay attention to the buffered information. Oh, this buffering. I'll be right back, folks.
Hey everyone, VMuse here with Idle Champions, and it's that time again to let you know that Idle Champions Presents is returning with its latest series, Fatebreaker. Now you're going to want to tune in on October 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/CNEGames for episode 1 of this new series. Now you'll see some familiar faces as well as some new ones in this cast. B. Dave Walters returns as the Dungeon Master. Megan Kenrick also returns as Widdle. Mark Mir is coming back, but this time as Uriah. Nora Ibrahim is joining us as Nahara. Alicia Marie will be playing her new champion, Thellora, and Gina Darling is also showing off her champion, Zhang Zhao. To add to the excitement, We also have some cool giveaways for you for everyone who's hanging out with us in the chat. Thanks to WizKids, we'll be giving away a D&D Icons of the Realms Adult Lunar Dragon to one lucky winner. This is open to US and Canada, Quebec excluded. Along with that, we'll also be giving away some goodies from Idle Champions. This winner will receive the Sigil and Synergy collection, which includes the Factions of Sigil bundle, Venture Casual Certainty theme pack, the Hands of Havoc Widdle and Venture Casual Dinar skin and feet packs, Flick at the Beetle and Psyche the Amethyst Pseudo-Dragon familiar packs, and this one is open to all. But hang on, we have a little bit more for you. Stick around and enter for a chance to win a $25 gift card thanks to the good people at Beetle & Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse. This will be open to all for a chance to win and can be used at beetleandgrims.com by our winner. So don't forget to tune in October 16th at 10 a.m. Pacific for the premiere episode of Idle Champions Presents Fatebreaker. We'll see you in the chat on twitch.tv/CNEgames. And until then, take care everyone. Bye-bye.
And we're back. There's a part of me that wants to do like a buffering gag where I'm like, wait, what? But I don't know. I feel like that might be how some people are hearing me anyway. It makes it not that funny. That makes it not that funny to anyone but me. Because I don't have to deal with it. I'm not buffered on my end. Oh boy. Sometimes you just gotta laugh, folks. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. Alright. I'm gonna hit up the questions. I got about half a dozen. And we have, you know, like an hour left to go. So folks, if you have questions, please put question : in front of your question. And Gabe, excuse me, I didn't. The tech thing screwed me up. Today in the production booth is Gabe, and it's Gabe because it's full caps now this time. Thursday it was Gabe because it was all lowercase, but today it's Gabe. Welcome back. All right. Bear asks, let me see. Are there anything that's on topic? I think these might be more general stuff. Oh, Valdemar asked, does the Centaur take up multiple positions? Thellora specifically is only going to be a one-slot champion. She's going to be a medium Centaur. She's going to be a medium Centaur. And then Shevik asks, first Briv, now Thellora. Any idea why Idle Champions paladins are so fast? Not all of them are. So don't paint all paladins with the same brush. Briv and Thellora are definitely speedy. I feel like it's a Centaur, folks. If they didn't make the Centaur a speed champion, you know, like there's two things you can make a Centaur in a video game. Either the speed champion or the carry. She puts the party on her back and yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh boy. All right, now we're just gonna do the general questions because that's all we had really on that kind of stuff. Abera, since Sean has basically confirmed Nordum will rarely convert gold chest to motor, that's not. Do you think that should also work for retired champions, perhaps through blood? This is not a. Look, I don't know what Sean's been talking about on stream. Until you see something arrive in the game, please take things any of us say on stream with a grain of salt. Even on Dev Insights, folks. Even on Dev Insights. You know. Some streams you need to take a cup of salt with, though. But I don't know. Would it be cool if there was some way to earn Modron chests outside of patrons? Yes. But we always, so here's the thing. Right now we have 4 patrons that'll sell you a Modron chest every week. It's really the only thing I still buy from patrons, is my Modron chest every week. But pretty soon we're going to have a 5th patron. So there, you patron chest gains are going to go up by, what, 25%? No. Yeah? I mean, right now we get 4, and we're adding another one. Because 25% of 4 is 1. That works, right? Yeah. It's probably wants to say 20%, but that's only once there's 5. That's 20% of the total. That's a different percent. I don't like doing math on stream. Anyway, you're gonna get more you're gonna get 1 more every week than normal, right? Just from that. You can also get Modron chests from the rewards track in seasons and bonus rewards from seasons, right? I mean, those are the main things. Plus, leveling up a new core. Hopefully, there will be a new core again, but then you just need more. Then you just need more pipes anyway, right? Then you just need more pipes anyway. So yeah, I mean, would it be cool if there's more ways to get? Oh, there's also like maybe 1 or 2 capstone adventures in the game, variants in the game, that give Modron component chests as a reward. So there's some out there. Would it be nice if there were more? Yes. Yes. As somebody who is really just limited by hunting for very specific cross pieces, directed cross pieces, yes. All the rest of them, I'm like, whatever. Yeah. Ooh. Vase in 1975. Are there any teams like Black Dice Society that work for other patrons in the way they do for Straw? No. No. However, you can, I think, is it Wolfgar that can bring, I think Wolfgar can be in any Icewind Dale adventure or variant and can bring Companions of the Hall into those as well. So instead of specifically for a specific patron, the Companions of the Hall can then go into a specific campaign. And that means all patrons in that campaign. As long as all patrons in that campaign. So there's things like that. But I think that might be the only 2. My brain is blank at the moment on that. I think those are the only. No. There's at least those 2, but not for patrons. Not for patrons. There, sometimes there's bring along friends, but those are the big ones, I think. Belswin, what did you feel about the new quests for seasons? Oh boy. So we're talking about bonus quests here. The 18 tier 1 for free plays in a time gate specifically is the one that's mentioned here. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm not going to grind it. Let me put it that way. What'll happen with this is I'm going to do exactly what's kind of intended is I'm going to run some time gates this weekend because it's a natural time gate weekend. And whatever tiers I get out of it, all right, whatever. And then the next time I open a time gate, I'll be able to go up further. And then the next time I'll go up further. I'm gonna treat it that way. I'm not gonna try to grind this out in 4 days. So here's the thing. I've already finished the main track of the rewards through level 60. I feel like these are the cool things, and those are the things that I was really interested in the most. The bonus reward stuff, It's neat, but I feel like I got so much. I feel like this is the frosting on the cake, and the cake was already delicious for me. And I'm just not, like this is like taking a spoon to the tub of the frosting, and I don't know. It's maybe a little too much for me. I don't like the frosting that much. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. Again, I'm not going to grind this out or anything. But other people could if they want. Other people could if they want. I haven't finished this one yet. This one dropped at the wrong time. This one needed to drop at the start of an event, and instead it dropped at the end of an event, and that just made it feel weird. If they had dropped this at the start of, if they had dropped this right as Thellora was coming out, this would have made so much sense. But it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. But again, this is kind of first iteration on these bonus quests, so they changed this from grind time to keep going, and that was a good choice. Never should have been grind time to start with, and no, not for the David reasons. Not for the reasons David said on Dev Insights. He's the one with the dirty mind. Also, this gold one, folks. Let's just comment on this gold one. Look, you can if you have a solid deep pushing team and are going very deep. 250, 300, 350, probably normal, viable things you might be able to get to in terms of the amount of gold. I think I checked my Morgaine, and my Morgaine is at like E325. Arguably, though, I haven't thrown her in at the end of a deep push. I think I could probably get 350, maybe on the way to 400. But Justin said he just screwed this one up. He basically admitted he screwed this one up. He thought that the damage, for whatever reason, off the top of his head when he was throwing the numbers in for this, he thought that as damage scales, like as your bud scales, so does the gold, and that's not how it works. That's not how it works, Justin. So I don't know, kind of ignore that one. Yeah, I mean, I think some of those are like, eh. I think the tiered one that even was just grinding, the tiers of an adventure, I feel like those didn't need to go to 2,000. I feel like they could have stopped at like 1,500 or lower, and that would have been fine. I don't think there was a need because even the highest level variants aren't, they're around 1,300 ish. So it could have stopped around 1,300, and then later on they could have added higher levels as the game truly needed you to progress that. But yeah, so those feel a little weird, but yeah, who knows? Future iterations may adjust, right? Evil Twin. For slot 10, I have Tyrell and Wolfgar. What's the suggested unlock for a third champion? So I think with Tyrell, you have a nice buffer and who can also be a nice tank at times, and Wolfgar is a solid tank. Those are two. There's your tanking out of the way. So I would probably go like you're probably not far enough into unlock Ikoria yet, so that's probably going to be your fourth champion in each slot. When you get to that point, I would probably say Astarion, honestly. I'd probably say Astarion, and I say that because we're getting more of the Baldur's Gate 3 champions at some point. Some quicker than others, is my understanding. And their affiliation has got some multiplicatively stacking pre-stack bonus goodness in it. So possibly a really solid affiliation to build around in the future. So maybe picking them up could be fun. However, if you just want to dip into some Mad Wizard gem farming, Havilar has a speed ability that works a lot of the time in Mad Wizard. Yeah. I will say, if you want a DPS option here, Yorvin, the bunny beast himself, is actually a solid DPS choice. I'm not a huge fan of them as support, but I think they're actually a really solid DPS choice. Not amazing, but better than I think a lot of people give them credit for. Spila on Thellora with skipping levels. Will they count the skipped levels to give gem bags skip? We know 100%. So I think there's like two things that are crossing over here. We know 100% it states that they will give you the rewards from the bosses that you skip when Thellora just skips you ahead. You will get the rewards from the boss bag. You'll also get the gold from killing the boss, just not gold from killing anything else. I don't even know why they give you the gold from killing the boss, to be honest. Because it's kind of pointless. If you can push that far and then skip that far, it's pointless. But whatever, we get that. I want to say there might have been some errata already, and it's from Sean, and Sean hates errata. So, I think Sean may have mentioned that they're trying to get credit for skipped levels for things, for other things. But I think until Thellora arrives in game, I don't want to confirm or deny anything beyond what it says in the champion spotlight, because I don't want to confuse people, because who knows if they'll have it fixed for when it goes live or not. Yeah, who knows. So we do know they're giving the bags with whatever comes in the bags, which is gems, which is the big thing. Gems and chests are the main things that you want out of the bags when you skip bosses, which is great. I 100% foresee Thellora in people's gem farms. I mean, that's just to instantly skip a huge chunk of levels is even more just in one burst than Briv does. Yes, please. Makes your gem farms really efficient. And more efficient the more favor you have. Now we have a reason to grind lots of favor in whatever campaign you're doing your gem farm in, because Thellora is going to help you jump that. Lazy cat. I mean, isn't that just a cat? Isn't that just a cat? Is this helpful information or just a weird flex? I don't know, because you haven't told me anything yet. For no particular reason, last week I opened over 5,000 patron chests. Yeah, that's definitely a flex. I got 861 epics and 2 shinies. Nice. I think the big thing there is all those epics. That's fantastic. Hold on. Now I got to do. Oh, how do I want to? Yeah. That's like an epic out of every 6.5 chests. That feels great. Yeah. Good for you. The shinies are on the low side. I will say that. Because it's a patron chest that there's no pity timer on shinies, but the average is supposed to be 1 in 1,000. So you were low on the shinies, but I feel like you did it. You beat the pity timer solidly on the epics. So good job. Shivik, do we know what happens to boss bags when Thellora rushes forward? Yeah, it says in the champion spotlight that you pick them all up. Vernitrax, does Nahara stack when in a background party? Ooh. Probably. Whether she stacks accurately or not, I don't know. That's something you'd have to test. Because it's based off completed areas, there's a better chance of it stacking accurately. But even then, so I know for sure offline progress, and usually I like to say they're roughly the same. Offline progress, when you come back, it's simulating and it's saying, I can do this level. Let's jump ahead 5 levels and see if I can do this level or more. And so whether it's counting all of that correctly on Nahara is something you'd have to check. You should get stacks, whether it's the right amount or not. Hard to say. If you put her in, okay, so then the rest of this, the left her in the party went for a new story mission with triple stack spec, and after 200 areas, she basically had the same, stacks, two different things. It's not a bug that it didn't stack. It's just that it's not activated. But here's the thing. Here's what I'll tell you. Anytime, this is the only way we're gonna, as a community, are gonna be able to really get this to happen. Sorry, Codename Entertainment, but it's been a long time. Since you said you were gonna fix all this stuff. So here's how we get it fixed. Every time when you run into a champion that is not giving you correct credit in a background party or in offline progress, submit a ticket. Say, hey, like for Nahara, hey, I had triple stack spec. I know I went 200 areas. I only got this number of stacks. This needs to be fixed. Be polite about it, but say, hey, this is not working correctly in the background. And because this isn't just a background progress issue. I mean it is, but it's really a big problem for people who play on phones and tablets and some consoles where they set up an adventure and then shut the game off. They're not getting the same game experience as everybody else. And they can't really, like, you can't just sit there on your tablet and just grind and let it just sit and grind for hours and hours and hours. Your tablet ain't gonna like that, right? Your phone won't either. So it is important to me that they update that stuff. I think it's important to everyone that's interacting with background and offline progress on a regular basis for them to get this stuff fixed and start working. And what it basically just means they have to go in and they have to make adjustments to each character that has an effect like that. And they just haven't done it. They haven't prioritized doing that. So I think it's like I said, when this year started, I was like, it's 2023. It's time to report every bug I run into. And I've been trying to be real good about that. But I don't pay attention. I tend to not run those types of champions in background parties because I know they don't work. So I haven't been reporting it. Yeah. One room, I have Grama. Nice. Who should start with an overwhelm value of 30. Once I put her in my squad, it drops to overwhelm. Really? I was going to say, okay, maybe you got... Wait, what? Why should she start with 30? She doesn't have a plus 10. Okay, regardless. She should start with a higher overwhelm value. Maybe that was a typo. So I put her into my group, it drops to overwhelm 5. I don't know. Even any perk to increase it, she still shows stat overwhelm 5. No? I mean, one rune. Here's the tried and true thing. Restart your client. Restart your game. Shut it down. Like sometimes, like if you're running on Steam or Epic, shut down the platform too. Restart everything. I like on Steam. Sometimes I'll verify files, but this game is that constant technology reminder of something not working right. Turn it off and turn it back on again. This game needs that a lot. So it could be a UI bug. It could be who knows. It's definitely a bug, but that bug could just be like some kind of memory issue that it's loading in the wrong. Like it's remembering the overwhelm from somebody else or something. I don't know. Instead of Grama, it could be a visual bug. It might be functioning correct. Restarting your client's the first thing to do. If it's still there after a restart, submit a ticket. And if you can give them a screenshot, that's cool too. But submit a ticket, let them know what's going on. But only submit the tickets after restarting, usually. For something like this, it looks like a visual bug, restart first. Yeah. But yeah, on Steam, so what I like to do is I like to restart Steam, and then when it comes back, I right-click on the game in my library, and I go to Properties, and under Properties, I will go to Install Files, and then there's one that says Verify Integrity of Game Files. And when I run into a big bug, I will do that whole thing. I will restart. I will shut down Idle Champions. I'll shut down Steam. I'll restart Steam. Then I will verify the integrity of the game files. Then I will fire Idle Champions back up. Because it's always going to find files that it says it needs to load. It's something about like Unity packaging. It's always going to find files. But doing that when you run into a bug, doing the full shutdown and bring back up, and that's usually the best bet. After 6 years of playing this game on my main account, which was on Steam, because that's where it came out first, I can tell you that's a major way to help out your situation. Firehead Nick, what is the best way to get speed potions? Spend your gems in the store on chests. I buy gold chests. Now I want a fake website called ibuygoldchests.com. But I buy gold chests whenever anybody's like, what do I spend my gems on? And then I just link them. ibuygoldchests.com. That'd be hilarious. That's too much effort for a gag for me though. But yeah, buy gold chests with your gems, open said gold chests, get lots of potions. But here's the thing. If you'll notice, like I have tens of thousands of some potions, thousands or hundreds of others. But when I get down here to speed potions, they're the fewer and the further, right? I don't have a lot of these. I got a lot of these, but I'm out of the smalls, which is shocking to me. And I need to do more Briv gem farming. That'll run me out of these. Yeah, you're always going to be low on speed potions because they're the only potion that's always useful until they put in BBEG, who gives you a pushing buff based off the number of potions you've used, which is interesting because then it means health potions are actually going to give you power for pushing. Gold find potions will give you more, right? It's a kind of an interesting mechanic. I'm really waiting for a speed booster that uses that gives you speed based off the number of potions that are used, which a lot of people would hate the idea of, but I'm all like, man, I could finally turn these into speed. That's great. But what they're actually going to do, or what they've talked about doing, is introducing a kind of an alchemy system where you can convert potions into other potions. Maybe convert up, but maybe into other kinds. People have wanted to convert up and down in the same category. Other people want to convert across things because everybody wants to turn all of these into speed. We don't know that system exists just in a design document right now. They have not tried to develop anything. So what it actually ends up as, who knows? I think it should just be a barter system because you need to do that with blacksmithing contracts and bounty contracts too. So just make it a barter system where you're swapping stuff, and then you don't have to worry thematically about an alchemy thing that then you're doing contracts with too. That doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so at some point we may have, another way to generate more speed potions, but really that's it. Now, some people are going to probably go, oh, but you can buy potions over here in the patronage. No. They're not worth it. They're not worth the cost, especially this one. Good Lord. I don't know what they were on when they thought that a patron chest was the equivalent of a potion of specialization. But no. Just no. Now I did ask recently on Dev Insights if now that they've changed the scaling on patron currency rewards for variants, if they could take a look at potion pricing in the shop, and Justin thought that was a good idea. So, at some point we may see an adjustment to the prices of those potions, and maybe you'll be able to get those epic speed potions cheaper. But really, it's whatever the alchemy system turns into is, yeah. I was in the next room getting something. All I hear is Gaarawarr saying, no, just no. Get the water bottle. No. Yeah. That's exactly it. Oh, yeah. That'd be great. Oh, man. God, now I need... So I've said before, I need an animated screen wipe that wipes the screen and says "back in my day" and a cane is shaking off the side of the screen. Now when I hit no, I need something that I can hit that has an animated water bottle. It comes out and sprays, and when it sprays, instead of getting something wet, like the water pools and it says no. Oh. Justin does not comment every idea with that is a good idea. What Justin does, here's how Justin is. He'll be like, blah, 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 blah. And Justin will go, yeah. Justin starts off every answer with, yeah. Like, do you think it's a good idea to blah, blah, blah? Yeah. And then he'll follow it up with basically, no, we probably won't do that. But he always starts the answer of everything off with, yeah. I don't know why, but he does. It's hilarious. It gets me every time because I'm all like, oh, God. You just said yes, but then you say no. Like, it's hilarious. Risking weird flex number 2. Lazy Cat comes back. Just gonna start calling you Cat. I average 1 million lost memory fragments on Nahara each month. Is that a lot? I don't know. I don't really grind Nahara. I don't even know. What have I got on Nahara? Do I have 1 million? Probably not. Oh. I'm shocked. I have 2.1 million lost memory fragments. Good for me. I don't know how I got those. But yeah, I got some. But I'm definitely not averaging 1 million a month. So that's, you're clearly focusing on Nahara. Hopefully they balance her in the future and then she'll be worth that investment. More than she, right now she's just kind of, but maybe with enough of those, who knows? Wolf Rider, are you recommending submitting 2+ tickets per day per champ, documenting the champ is not counting background stacks properly? No. I'm not saying spam them with tickets. I'm just saying, but like when you run into a new champion, if you've submitted a ticket for that champion before, don't submit one like multiple times a day every day, but mainly new champions that you're coming across. The idea here is because if one person is spamming tickets, nothing gets fixed. That's just Taylor's just going to hate you forever. That's all that's going to happen. But if the community is saying as a whole, the general thing is these aren't working. Yeah. No one wants a spam campaign. No one wants a spam campaign online or via tickets or in Steam reviews. No one pays attention. No one wants that. No one wants to deal with that kind of stuff. What you want is just, feedback from a community, and that's a different thing. Basically, my son wants an explanation of Evil and specializations, particularly comparing the first two. Evil in Avalona, Helvig, Marthane, Paladin, Lathander. Praise Lathander. Lathander, as everybody knows, is the god of cheese. No, wait, that's Lavender. Alright, so we're talking about fighting style protection or compelled duel if we're talking about the left two. Fighting style protection is what I like to call mom arm. And what she calls mom arm sometimes. It's like, I got you. Like, just, whoa, with shortstop, got you. So you get either mom arm or compel duel. Let's start with compel duel. Compel duel is basically if Evelyn is the sole tank, the only person in the front column, you really want compel duel. Between these two, you really want compel duel. We can talk about Lathander's allies here in a bit too, but compel duel is like solo tank Evelyn. Fighting style protection is more if well, it has a lot of more use case scenarios that are very specific. So if you have a 2 or a 3 champion frontline, and so it's Evelyn and 1 or 2 other tanks up front, you might want to go fighting style protection. Definitely if it's 3, because then more often than not, 2/3 of the time, somebody will be attacking somebody other than Evelyn, and that will trigger the buff. When it's just 2, you could go fighting style protection or compelled duel, up to you. Now, the other time you want to use fighting style protection is if you are dealing with enemies that attack your entire formation. So if you have bosses with cleaves that hit multiple rows, or if you have bosses that are AoEs, like Valendra Shadowmantle is usually the first one people really remember AoEing your whole party down. Fighting style protection, because it says after an ally of Evelyn is attacked, not after another tank in the front column or something. So anyone in the party gets attacked, then that triggers. So fighting style protection is good for that as well. Was that the British mom arm where it goes to the left? Yeah. Well, I mean, if I went to the right, I'd like probably punch my microphone. So, so those are the kind of when you choose between the left two. Now, Lathander's allies, is solid too, but in very specific situations. Like the final part, it's really got, it needs Ack Inc, C Team, or Waffle Crew. So if you have a large number of them in your party, it can be a big deal. It can be nice because Lathander's Grace is solid on Evelyn. So it's the effect bonus upgrades granted by Lathander's Grace increased by 10%. Stacking addably for each Ack Inc, C Team, or Waffle Crew champion. So there might be a time when you use this as well. You have to math that out based off your formation. But the ones on the left, for the ones on the left, it really is like, is Evelyn just going to deal with it herself? Or is she trying to interact with other people in the party, right? That's what's going on. That's what's going on there. We got about half an hour, folks. And I'm out of questions. Let me see. Is there something else? Lathander is the god of the... I mean, it's like the morning sun or whatever. Hold on. Let me... I mean, they are the morning lords, so they're symbolized by the rising sun. But they're the god of dawn, which represents the potential of a new day. The god of hope and beginnings. But it can be like birth, renewal, spring, youth, athletics, self-protection, vitality, creativity, a lot of things. But if you're Bobby Zimmerowski, Lathander's the god of cheese. Lathander's the god of cheese. Because why not? Because why not? I need more questions, folks. Yeah, Lathander's allies is really, if you have the right formation, it can be good for the deep pushes with because of Lathander's Grace, right? Because you have to be able to go really far to get a lot of stacks of Lathander's Grace. So if you are going into a very deep push, because it stacks multiplicative, if you're going into a very deep push, and you have a good number of Ack Inc, Waffle Crew, C Team people, then Lathander's Grace becomes a big deal because it stacks multiplicatively. Jason, there's Strahd and Zerial T11 local perks actually global? They probably not. No, I know it says global damage. I think this is a typo. I think it just means like it's no. You know what this is? What this is they're using the wrong term. I mean, I don't know. Some people contest it, but this means all the damage that you are doing in your formation. It should only still apply if you're in a Strahd formation. But potentially instead of damage of all champions, it might be including click damage. That's the way I read that. What it doesn't mean is like, works everywhere. That is specifically the global column. So I think what this means is, I think what this global refers to as click damage. It counts as well. That's what I would get out of it. That's going to be a Dev Insights question, honestly. But that's the way I read those when I saw them. Like this one. I read that as like click damage. Yeah. Honestly, not something I'm going to be working on anytime soon, so I didn't think to ask in Dev Insights this week. Because for me to get currently to get into tier 11, to get the tier 11 stuff, and at least get partially into that, you can't fully complete those currently. You'd have to do every single variant in the game, patron variant in the game. I ain't gonna bother. I will wait until they add more stuff in the future that has even higher scaling, because they didn't fix patron influence scaling. They only fixed the currency scaling. So at some point, I'll just be able to do a handful of patron variants at a really high level and get those without having to grind every variant. I can wait. Vesa, for split the party, who do you suggest for slots 10 and 4? For either Entreus for pushing or Sentry for speed. And 10... Oh, somebody asked me about 10 earlier, and I said Astarion, and maybe Yorvin, but also Virgil. So Virgil for speed, Astarion if you're building the Baldur's Gate 3 groups, Wolfgar or Barrowin is for another tank if you want another tank here, Yorvin if you want a DPS here. I feel like there's a nice plethora of options in 10 now. Whereas early on, 4 is going to be Entreus and Sentry. You could see some Desmond if you want like a later. I think Desmond is like maybe your 3 or your 4. Probably your 4. I think you go Entreus or Sentry first. And then get whichever one you didn't pick next. That kind of stuff. Zayatic Order. Is it worth saving reward tokens for next week and beyond, or should we use all 7? Well, you only get 6 in any given week. Because you only get to vote for 6 days, and then on the 7th day we watch the show. There's no voting on the show day. Because that would be too hard for that would be problematic, right? After the show ends, you'll get to vote, but it'll be Tuesday's vote. It's a weird thing. So yeah, like I said, I like to spend the 3 right away to get the big reward, and then I tend to bank the tokens so that next week I can just buy a big reward right away. That type of thing. Lurking Rider version 3. This is not the Lurking Rider. This is a joke. It was a good joke that day, and now they have to live with it for a while. What is a good time gate free play to get the most bonus quest tiers regarding time gates? I don't know. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to do that. Here's what I will say. High Harvesttide as an event, and you can go back and look at which champions arrived in High Harvesttide. High Harvesttide in this event was the very first event, and thus has pretty much the easiest bosses. Because back when it came out, we only had core champions. Right? And then they started ramping up boss mechanics in events after that. So High Harvesttide, if you're thinking about like what's the one that you just know you'll always be able to push super far in, High Harvesttide. because it had to be the simplest year one. Year one, it was event one, and it had to be real simple. So probably High Harvest Tide. Whoever arrived in High Harvest Tide. Stokey was the year one champion. Stokey was our very first event champion, so you could get stoked about Stokey. I don't know. She needs a rework. Who else showed up in High Harvest Tide? Farida, Puent, Tora, Gaar, and then we just had the event. So Dahani, Egbert, and Certainty. So, Puent got a fantastic rework. You're gonna go pick up Puent, or you want to get some gear for Puent. Everybody else needs a rework. Everybody else except for Certainty needs a rework. So there you go. Back over here. What are we at? I'm out of questions again. Oh yeah, Virgil will be in the event, but it's the event after this one. That's like you're basically telling people to wait a month. I don't think you need to wait a month to do split the party. If you've got the pieces now, do it. Virgil will just then be your next champion in that slot, and it'd be great. Rough Rider, what should we ask during the Founders Q&A at the start of Extra Life? Oh yeah, folks, so Extra Life is coming. Extra Life is coming. Extra Life is coming. It's arriving a little earlier this year. So next Friday, October 20th, starting at 9 a.m. Pacifically speaking, this Codename Entertainment will start their 24 hours of Extra Life. They will be live. They will turn the stream on around 9 a.m. and it will stay on for 24 hours, which means Friday, none of the normal streams are going to be on. Saturday, the tutorial show will not be on. The tutorial show will not be on. So yeah. And they do a Founders Q&A, which is basically like Dev Insights, but back in the day we didn't have Dev Insights, so the one time a year that we got to ask Dave and Justin questions was at the Founders Day Q&A. Now we're spoiled; we get it every week. But yeah, so you can ask, but you can ask like questions that don't necessarily have to do with Idle Champions. You can start at, because it's Founders Q&A, you can ask about like, how do you like about like the progression of through games? What do you think they've learned along the way with each of their games? Or what do you think about like just overall development of this game? Or how do you think you can ask a question? How do you think the game dev space is changing? And like you can ask things that aren't just about Idle Champions. I mean, you can kind of do that on Dev Insights too, but you might be like, you released games pretty regularly, and since you released Idle Champions, you haven't. What's up? Have you, because normally small studios are constantly working on the next game, but we haven't heard anything about a next game, right? So you can ask things like that, because you can ask more generalized questions, because there's going to be people there that are playing other CNE games, right? So you may see a wider variety of questions. Rough Rider 1995. How many challenge coins do you think it would cost to get you invited to Extra Life 2024? Wow. I don't know. I am not a direct employee of Codename Entertainment, so I don't get invited to this stuff. Like Mars has gone out to do that. Some people go, some don't, depending from the States, depending on, stuff. I have no idea. Probably be a lot. I'm up to almost 1.4 million challenge coins, so I don't think I have enough. Plus, I'm saving up for 9 million to get on Bardic Inspiration. We did this one already. Did you craft one? You can ask questions like, do you use WD-40 on everything? I mean, look. The mechanic. When I was growing up, the mechanics toolbox, the two items that you constantly had to have, WD-40 and duct tape. All right? Didn't matter what you were working on. One of those two things was probably going to help you. Yeah. Which is funny. There was another. Hold on. My grandfather always had a can. I got to make sure. Yep, that's what it is. Always had a back then a can of. Now I guess it's their bottles. Marvel Mystery Oil. That was like before WD-40. That was the thing. Jeez, now we're just tossing softballs. Evil Emperor Zerg, I heard about these things called Gaar guides. Can you explain what they're about? Yeah, folks, if you don't know, I do this show because I have over 140 guides targeted towards new players over on the Idle Champions subreddit. Check them out if you need some help. The one I get the most positive feedback about on is the new player guide, the new player reference, because it compiles a bunch of things and gives you a way to kind of get you started and get you directed on moving through the game in a way that is both enjoyable to you and efficient. Yeah. Is it affiliated with Marvel Comics? No. No, it is not. No, it is not. Electrical tape, pipe clamps, and metal coat hangers are also useful. I used to. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that. I don't know. Whatever. My first car was a 1973 Chevy Nova, two-door. The two-door coupe, not the hatchback. I don't like the hatchback. Anyway, it had when I got it for I want to say like $75. I think the guy wanted maybe it was $100. I think the guy wanted like $150, and I think my dad talked him down to like $100. Which will tell you what kind of condition that car was in. But it had a broken steering column in the sense that the key, like you use the key to get into the car. Well, you used one key. This is back when there were two keys for cars, folks. So you use one key to get in the car, but the key for the ignition didn't work normally. Something had broken about it at some point, and then instead of paying to get it fixed because it was a car that was only worth like $150, they just the part in your ignition where if you're still using keys, where you kind of put the key in and then turn it into the thing that allows all the electricity to start flowing through, that didn't work. All it would only do is activate the starter. So they had to have a kill switch for the car, and they put it in when I first got it, it was in I think it was in the like the ashtray. It was where the cigarette lighter was. Instead, they take the cigarette lighter, they put a little button that you could turn the power on. So I just put this. So the key was only ever to start the car, and then I could freak all my friends out by starting the car and then taking the key out, put it in my pocket because I didn't need it anymore. It didn't turn the car off either. That was what the kill switch was for. And the downside of that is I would consistently lock my keys in my car. And this brings me, the whole reason we're having this conversation is the wire coat hanger. I kept a wire coat hanger that was unraveled and stretched out and long in my engine compartment because I could pop the hood just from the front. It just had a little lever to release, and I looped it around one thing and looped it around another. And whenever I lock my keys in the car, I just go pop the hood, unwind the coat hanger, jimmy it through the top, pull the lock up, and get back into my car, and put the coat hanger back and get back into the car. I got so good at that. I could open the car door in like 5 seconds or less, which came in really handy when I had a job later working in retail, and somebody would come in and be like, "Lock my cars in my car and or my keys in my car. Can you call somebody?" And they would just call me. I worked in the warehouse. They would just page me to come to the front, and I'd go out and unlock their cars for them. Good times. Please only do that for your own car, or if somebody asks you for their car and they can prove that it's their car, folks. There's my disclaimer. And we don't have any more questions, and because of the lag, I don't know how far behind we are on stream. We'll give you one other funny thing. Duct tape. Not Not duck like quack quack. Duct. D-U-C-T. That stuff truly can be used anywhere. At one point when I was a kid, one summer we did mini offshore racing. Like, so little 10 to 12 foot cat boats, like the double hull boats, go real zippy fast. Raced one of those in a race one summer. And for whatever reason, we got a crack from going so fast and hitting so many wakes. We got a crack in the bottom of the boat, and in between races, we would have the bilge pump on the whole race, squirting water out like a water gun, and then we would pull it onto the boat ramp, pull it out, and then duct tape the crack, and then go until it was a lot of water coming out, and then come in and take that tape off and put new tape on over and over. We won more trophies than anyone that day. Duct tape, keep it in your car. It's good for so many things. Our receivers, back on topic. Mert Patron Shop has motor chests that require 5,000 Ruby coins. Yeah, but also 5e5 influence before I can buy it. Is that total ever earned? Yes. Influence is not something you spend per se for the shop. It is a high watermark. That's why mine says 4.29 E10. You spend it over here. So you spend it like cash over here, but all it ever cares about over in the shop is the most you've ever gotten. So it doesn't matter how much you have on hand. Once you have enough to unlock everything, you can buy it forever and ever. It's just in perks that you have to spend it. Over here, high watermark. So once you earn the right to buy those things in the patron shops, it's always going to be available for you to buy. The boat you're before your time for flex seal tape? Probably. There's lots of things that probably could have worked better nowadays, but. Rough Rider, are you going to sport a costume on the 31st when you play Baldur's Gate 3? So normally it's like I do an Idle Champion stream with a costume on, but it's on the wrong day. So I don't know. I feel like I could just say, hey, I'm cosplaying as Gaarawarr Grudgekeeper, because Gaarawarr Grudgekeeper is who I'm playing in Baldur's Gate 3. And shocker, they look a lot like me. But I don't know if I'm going to do a costume this year, because normally it's for the Codename streams and I won't be on one. Or I shouldn't say I'm going to do a costume. I've never worn a costume on stream. What are we talking about? Rough Rider, I've never worn a costume on Halloween. I've had Bob Ross come and host my stream, and I've had Brig Hellclaw come and host my stream. I haven't worn costumes. What are you talking about? Of course, why do you use duct tape on everything in existence except ducks, which have their own tape called something else? I don't know. That is true. But it was probably what you used originally, and then they found better stuff again. Vertitrax got the Aroas core from a wild offer. Interesting. Is it worth to focus Aroas champions with time gates? I mean, if you like the Aroas champions and you want to run the Heroes of Aroas formation, sure. The Aroas core is okay. It doesn't make them OP, but it does focus on them correctly. Like it does give them. It is focused more on them. It has buffs that specifically target them, but it isn't incredibly strong. Again, it was kind of the first core they ever created with a season. And it was neat, but I would say they missed the mark. I would say they missed the mark a bit on that one in terms of strength. It should be like the best core to use when you're using Heroes of Aroas. I'm not sure if it is. One of these days I would love to see them do. People are kind of just accept the cores for the most part. And they might be a little scared to rebalance cores, but I would love to see a rebalance pass on all of the cores. Because the modest is stronger than modest. The strong is not really that. Like, strong is supposed to be like a melee core or a strength based melee core, and it isn't necessarily the best for that. The magic core is focused on magic base attack stuff, but it has like no survivability in it, which makes it a glass cannon core more than a magic core. Aroas could use a little more power. Yeah. The fast core could probably use more of a focus on speed and less on damage, as much as I hate to say it. Because honestly, the fast core, I tell people to maximize, I take that one to 15 first, because honestly, the damage compared to the modest core, pretty close. Pretty close. So, yeah. Like, I'd like to see them more specialized in what they say they're doing. I think the unaffiliated core they really nailed. I think that should be their bar. The unaffiliated core feels really good with a formation made up of unaffiliated people. And I think they need to use that as like the bar that all other cores need to make sense to. Like, modest should give a modest amount of things for a wide variety of stuff. It should be your general usage for all kinds of different people and get you some progress. The fast core should really be more about speed than it is. Honestly, I know it does some cool speed stuff, but there's only 3 speed nodes. Again, magic needs to be really tightly focused on magic users. Strong needs to be really focused on high strength score champions. And they it shouldn't, anything that's a focused core like strong or magic shouldn't really help out people who aren't part of that. Not really. Whereas I think magic is actually really good for like Krond, because he has a cantrip, right? And I think it's better than the strong core for him, which is weird. I don't know. I think there's other champions. It's just kind of, it depends. If you want to run the Heroes of Aroas formation, they're cool. They got to rework. They're a solid team. But there might be other groups that could be better if you want like a really better deep pushing team. You too crafty one. Would zombie Bob Ross attack you? No. Zombie Bob Ross would be chill. He'd just be painting. And we'd be like, Bob, how'd you end up a zombie? It was a happy little accident. It's a happy little accident. Oh, no. Oh, no. We need a ranged core? We do need a ranged core. Yeah. Yeah. I don't, I think it's, here, I've talked about this before, and then we're going to probably end the stream on this unless somebody comes up with some good questions. And not just funny questions. We obviously need a range core because we have a magic and we have a strong. We could use a dexterous core. I mean, if they go back and, you can have a charismatic core, but specifically we need a ranged one. But then I think we also need one for each of the patrons. I think, and I don't know why it hasn't happened yet. They were talking about, people were like, well, we need more stuff in the patron shop. We do. Super easy thing to add. Down here at the bottom, you could have it for a lot. You could have a high influence unlock for it. Not like everything, but a higher influence unlock that maybe equivocates to maybe tier 8, tier 9. And a high currency cost. And have a patron core. Have a Mert core that really just goes all in on good or evil champions. Like, have it really focused. Have a Vajra, have a Strahd, have a Zerial. Have a core that when you go to push their stuff, it's really the one you should be using. And if you put it at the super high level, it can be what helps you. It can be what helps you step from mid game into end game and complete some of these more difficult things, right? So I think having a patron focused core in the patron shops would be amazing. I think it could be amazing. And I think the drop frames finally stopped, folks. I think we're actually catching up to live Gaarawarr. Rough Rider, what should the fourth speed node be on the fast core? The Vi mechanic? No, because Vi already maxes her own mechanic out. That's kind of one of the problems of Vi's mechanic. It's better than her old one, but let's see, what do we got? We got speed potions, we've got credit. You know what? It could just be another I know exactly what it should be. One of the problems is that the speed mechanic up here only gets you to enemies having a 50% chance to drop 2 quest items at once. Like another one of these maybe would be nice. Like basically we want to get and have it stack additively, because what we want is guaranteed 2 drop, right? I want guaranteed double credit. The fact that this one never did that is what makes it kind of eh. They could add another node, you know, they could swap out something for that. But I think what you'd want is like, I don't know, you'd want more than just, you'd probably need 5 nodes instead of 3. And what that 5th one is off the top of my head, I don't know. But it would be nice. For Artemis, for starring, assuming you have enough favor power to soft cap everyone, will 6 stacks of Thief get you further than 4 stacks of Arcane Trickster? I don't know. You go and find the party by 100% you go find. Well, this is Thief is gold find. So if you can soft cap, you wouldn't choose this. If you can soft cap, you wouldn't choose Thief. You would choose Thief if you can't soft cap. And you have a good number of stacks to get you more gold, so you could get to it. Yeah. So these aren't comparative, because one's a gold find bonus and one's a damage bonus. And if you are, like you said, assuming you have enough favor power to soft cap, Arcane Trickster is going to be the better option. Yeah. Artemis, do you have a guide for click damage pushing to 2k? No. No. And that's going to be it, folks. No more streams on this channel over the weekend. That will return Monday. I had to pause there. Monday! Idle Champions presents Fatebreaker, 10 a.m. Pacifically speaking. Lasts for 3 hours. There is going to be a stream on my channel in about an hour. Gaarawarr plays Baldur's Gate 3. Come hang out. We're in in-game over there. It's getting pretty wild. We do the damages, and yesterday we ran into a fantastic bug, but I did not have a problem exploiting the heck out of him because it was a blast. But yeah. Come hang out with us in about an hour. We play more Baldur's Gate 3. Monday, after Idle Champions presents Fatebreaker, just hop on over to my channel, because we play Idle Champions on Mondays, and I will be starting the stream right after Fatebreaker. See you then, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Gabe, for grabbing all the questions. Thank you, all of you, for asking all the questions. I don't remember what... Oh, we're going out with... something. Strahd's Drop of Time, maybe? Is that what I did? I don't remember. No! It's Widdle for Fatebreaker. It's a Whittle Bit Evil. There we go.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Let's do it.
This could be it.
She's a little bit evil, a little bit good. She's a little bit sneaky, little misunderstood. Running away from her crimes like a spider she climbs. She's a little bit hero, a little bit villain too. She's a little bit scared. she'll be there pointing a gun. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of an evil, and she suffers no fools. She's a little bit devil, dread domains roll, very quick on her feet while misleading her foes. But after a vampire's attack, her heart was turned blind. She stepped out of time and stole the devil's rod. Then she dropped her dress on top of a god. She saved a friend with a pack. Now there's no turning back. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of the evil, and she suffers no fools. She's a hound in the night, and a tempest vine. For a friend she will find. She's what goes bump in the night. She keeps her soul from running aground. With her friends and allies she's found. She battles devils below and the gods above. She's dying to save the one she loves. She's a tinker and a thinker, a wizard with her tools, a widow of evil, and she suffers no fools. She's a hound in the night, and a tempest vine. For her friend she will find. She's what goes bump in the night. Yeah, we did it.
It's so good. I'm so happy with it.
It feels good.